We put our client on the stand, and when I tell you it is some of the most heartbreaking testimony you can imagine, our client in this case is an immigrant. She is a single mom and is a fundamentally good and decent person who got this text message, responded to it by saying you have the wrong number, and then developed a relationship, or what she thought was a relationship, with someone on the other end. They then took advantage of her kindness and stole every penny she has, all of it. And to say it's devastating to her, to say that it has ruined her life, is to understate it. It was incredibly moving testimony and tragic, heartbreaking, but she gave it with incredible dignity and was very moving to hear her tell it directly to the judge, tell her story step by step, how this person reached out to her, how they gained her trust, how they lied to her repeatedly about everything. So she gave her testimony. She lost all her money. She asked the judge to freeze these wallets so she and we can do everything within our power to get her money back for her and everybody else whose money has been stolen that has been found in these wallets. We did that. Then we put on the testimony of our investigator. And the investigator is a former NSA person. I don't know what the right word is here. He used to work. He's a United States Marine who was attached to the National Security Agency and did investigations there. Now he does digital forensics. And this stuff is complicated and sophisticated in a way that I just am not able to properly articulate. Only he really can. Just a brilliant, absolutely brilliant guy. You know, full beard, backwards cap, could kill you extremely easily, but is a computer person. So we put on his testimony, and here's what the court heard. Here's what the judge heard from this investigator. The people who run these scams, the people who talk to the victims, the people who gain the trust of the victims, are not the bad guys for the most part. They're also victims. What we learned is, and what we know from the history of these types of scams, is that there are compounds, entire compounds, camps, filled with human trafficking victims in Southeast Asia. And these camps contain usually young women who have been enticed to come to one of the countries in Southeast Asia and are taken to Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, and kept in slavery, in human bondage, and forced to run these scams until they've paid off their, quote, debt to the kidnappers. This is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year business. And they run romance scams, investment scams, this pig butchering business, all of it. This is a problem that you cannot imagine exists in 2024. They're human slaves, human beings in slavery in that part of the world who are reaching out on behalf of their captors to steal money from people in the West and people in Japan, for example. People who have money, where the money is, that's where they're going. And they do their best to cover their tracks. Our investigators are better and are able to trace this stuff. So at the end of the hearing, after all of this testimony, and after we related to the judge that we'd done everything we're supposed to do under the rules, the judge entered the injunction. So we got the injunction. We have frozen those accounts for the foreseeable future. And the next step is getting that money out and getting it back to the victims. This is such important work. And even if it ultimately doesn't work out in this particular case, there are thousands of other cases with stories just like this one. It is tragic in a way that you rarely see as a lawyer in this area of the law. And it is, I'll just speak personally and sort of from the heart, which is not something I'm accustomed to doing. It is really the honor of my career to be able to do this for people who have been victimized in this way, and to do what I can to put out of business the syndicates, the criminal organizations that are holding slaves and forcing them to steal from other people. It is such important, such good work. And I'm fortunate to be able to work with an incredible team of lawyers and investigators who do this stuff all over the world. The investigators in particular, I'm not singling anyone out, but just to be able to benefit from the work that these three-letter government agency veterans do is an honor for me. And I know I speak for all the lawyers on my team and on the other teams when I say that it is an honor to be able to do this. And the clients, to be able to see the look in the client's eyes when you tell them, we don't know what's in these wallets, we don't know if we've gotten everything back, we don't know if we've stopped everything or how much we'll be able to get back, but we know that we've frozen at least these. We found them and we froze them. This single mom, this immigrant who I represented this week in court, just to see the gratitude on her face, to see that there's some light potentially at the end of she knows there's a long road ahead, is rewarding, is incredibly rewarding. So we are looking to do a lot more of these crypto cases. This is unique. We are absolutely one in a million. I know of no one else who is able to hold out any real hope of finding any of these assets. I know that the federal government, the FBI, doesn't spend as much time, frankly, as they should, finding this stuff, tracing this stuff. I, of course, don't have no idea what they're doing behind the scenes, but I do know that victims are told, for the most part, by law enforcement, your money is gone. There's no way we're ever going to find your money. To be able to tell potential victims or victims that we have the potential to recover, to find and potentially recover your lost money is really exciting and rewarding, very rewarding professionally. I've represented people in civil rights cases, and it feels like that. It just feels like you're doing right by the world. You're doing something you, at this point, don't know is ever going to put a penny in your pocket, but has already paid off enormously. So, bergpc.com. Berg, B-E-R-G, pc.com. Go there. This stuff is happening. It's growing. It's a multi-billion-dollar-a-year business. I would be thrilled for more of these. I would be more thrilled to be able to tell you that my investigators have believed they've traced what you lost. I can't say that that's what's going to happen, but it's a possibility now. And just to have that hope is motivating.